Ooh, that must be a semi-familiar sound now at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night. That means it's Progotron, and this time around it's myself, Randall Liberon, hosting it as it takes place here on Radio Gordo. Welcome, everybody. It's going to be an interesting show this week. It's been a little while since I was sitting behind the microphone, and the last time that I ended up playing basically a lot of more modern sort of stuff. I mean, if really forced to play progressive rock, I suppose that I'm going to pull out the usual ones more often than not. And by usual ones, I mean Gentle Giant, Genesis, some King Crimson. Gun to my head, I would have to say that Yes has never been the one for me. To be honest, in my time since hosting this show last time, I've even gone back and tried listening to some of them. I was trying to listen to some Relayer. I know in some of the prog groups I'm a part of, it's really well regarded. I still am waiting for the moment for it to click, and I don't know what it is necessarily. I mean, Fragile for me is the real one that I go, yeah, okay, I'm on board with this. I get it, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But a lot of those other ones, it's too twee and fiddly, and I want some riffage going on, and so we're gonna do a little bit of that tonight. like that segue, we just pull off that band-aid. In terms of riffage, yes, we're going to look at much later in the show a band that was on last time that I did this show. We're going to check out something from Animals as Leaders. Really cool instrumental stuff, very technical playing for a three-piece. We're going to get a little bit heavier at that point. We're going to get really weird and spacious at another point. I got some really extended stuff in this one. We're going to check out a cut from the 2018 remastered edition of the Pink Floyd Animals LP. It was only released not that long ago, but the mix had been done in 2018, and then legal issues. And I mean, it's Pink Floyd. Of course, there's going to be some legal issues going on. Apparently, it wasn't even over anything related to the music. It was the content of the liner notes. That's how mature they were being at that time. But before we get to that, there's other stuff to get to, and the one opening it up tonight, well, I was going to give that honors to a band called Mastodon. Over time, they've managed to get heavier and weirder. And as they get weirder, they almost seem to lose some of that heaviness. Occasionally they still drop some of that dropped A tuning stuff in some of their recordings, but on 2009's Crack the Sky, the band really embraced their progressive rock roots. This is a band that has been really held up in heavy metal circles, and the lead guitarist, he's actually gone on record as saying that he doesn't like metal. He doesn't think that they're metal. So the progressive rock element comes out a little bit more. So from Mastodon's album Crack the Sky, which is a really wild tale about death and time travel and wormholes and psychedelics and everything like that, featuring a cast of players from deceased family members to Rasputin. This is the Tsar, right here on Progotron on Radio Gordo. And that was Mastodon with an extended workout called The Czar. It comes to us from the 2009 album Crack the Sky. A little bit of a description that I gave before it. Yeah, there were a lot of weird stuff going on that one. That one could be broken down into 4 parts. Usurper, Escape, Martyr, and Spiral. The boys definitely bringing out their progressive rock inclinations on that one, especially by having a multi-part suite of a song on that outing. Next up on Progotron is a song that I definitely went through my archives before including it in the mix tonight and really checked to see had I played this or not. Because in the 1990s, Radiohead hit the scene as almost a by-the-numbers alternative rock band when their song Creep really broke them to larger audiences. And then things started to change for the band. So by the time they released their 3rd full-length LP, OK Computer, they were starting to be hailed as kind of the Gen X Pink Floyd. Longer, more experimental soundscapes, a sense of progressive rock elements coming into it. You know, you had these washes of sound mixed with epic guitars and spacey lyrics, or lyrics that derived their sensibilities and inclinations and information from various sources. And this one fits that to a T. The title of the song is Paranoid Android, which once I read Douglas Adams's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I was like, oh, Marvin, the Paranoid Android. And it clicked for me in a very cool way. So, yeah, let's check this out. Surprisingly epic, many little parts that to make up this song, and, kind of a tricky one to actually learn how to play it. I've worked on learning this acoustic introduction before. A little more sneakily difficult than I would have figured. From Radiohead and OK Computer, this is Paranoid Android.
was shot here at the entrance to the Dakota building. Venom was shot 4 times with a .38 caliber gun in what seems to be a totally senseless killing.
The Second Amendment gives the right of the people to keep and bear arms.
I'm going down. I need a fix, 'cause I'm going down. I need a fix, 'cause I'm going down. I need a fix. Mama, I need a fix, 'cause I'm going down. Down to the bits that I left uptown. Down to the bits that I left uptown. Down to the bits that I left uptown. I said I need a fix, 'cause I'm going down. I need more spiritual good, more those superior of the girl. Mama, happiness, Mama, Mama.
And that's an artist that, for those old school, overly dogmatic and pedantic prog haters out there, maybe you have a hard time being progressive enough and accepting Tori Amos as maybe being capable of standing amongst these very well-known names. But for my inclinations, and I suppose maybe that's one of the reasons why I've been tapped on to be one of the hosts of this show, is to provide maybe a different perspective. But Tori Amos, an amazingly virtuosic piano player, her singing voice to me is just amazing, how it can be really close and sultry and almost a whisper to crazy dynamic range and just the projection. Very cool performer, very artistically valid. And from her Strange Little Girls covers album released in 2001, that was her version of the Beatles' Happiness is a Warm Gun. Very unique take on it, and I love the way that it moves through those different segments. I remember listening to that in an apartment in Victoria, BC, 20-ish years ago with a friend of mine. We used to crank that up in his apartment, and I feel sorry for his downstairs neighbor, because the bass at the end of that song, very cool. And that downstairs neighbor definitely heard it. Next up on Progotron, we're going to keep this covers vibe going a little bit longer here. The Flaming Lips teamed up with the likes of Peaches and Henry Rollins when they did a covers album as Stardeath and the White Dwarfs. They covered all of Dark Side of the Moon. And being that that album celebrated its 50th anniversary just a little while ago, earlier this year, I figured it was maybe worth checking out a couple of songs off of that one. So from those guys and gal, we're going to check out Time into Breathe Reprise, and yes, we're going to follow it up with Great Gig in the Sky.
with the sun, but it's sinking, racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught or have a day to scribble lines, hanging on in quiet desperation. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought something more to say.
Not frightened of dying. Anytime will do, I don't mind. Why should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You gotta go sometime. said I was frightened of dying.
Really like the reimagining of Dark Side of the Moon that those guys did on that one. Those guys being the Flaming Lips, Henry Rollins, and Peaches, calling themselves Stardeath and the White Dwarves for that one. Covered the entire album, and think of it as a modern garage psych band doing it, and not an epic rock band. And it's a very cool reimagining of it. It takes it to places that you wouldn't have expected the album to go to, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. This is Progotron right here on Radio Gordo, and if we heard covers of Pink Floyd, it's now time to check out the actual Pink Floyd band here, and we're going to get into the James Guthrie remix of Animals. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who really despise remixes. They think it was released properly the first time, there's no need to go back and reinvent history and fiddle with knobs that were set fine decades ago. Well, this is an album that I was really on the fence about it, I have to admit it. But then I listened to it over my headphones, and I was enthralled with how vivid everything sounded. The one thing that was hard for me to get past is the drums are no longer claustrophobic like they were. And you know what? The more I listen to it, the more it's a good thing. Just a bigger dynamic range, more separation. The instruments sound more vital, if that makes any kind of sense. And you know what? Don't take my word for it. Let's just check it out. This is Pink Floyd, Dogs.
You got to be crazy. You gotta have a real need. Gotta sleep on your toes. And when you're on the street, you got to be able to pick out the easy meat with your eyes closed. Then moving in silently downwind and out of sight. You got to strike when the moment is right without thinking. And after a while, you can work on points for style, like the club tie and the firm handshake, a sudden look in the eye and an easy smile. You have to be trusted by the people that you lie to. confused. Sometimes it seems to me as if I'm just being used. Gotta stay awake, gotta try and shake off this creeping malaise. If I don't stand my own ground, how can I find my way out of this maze? Death don't mind. You just keep on pretending
Hopefully that outing worked as well for all of you as it did for me. That was the 2018 remix slash remaster of Dogs. James Guthrie, longtime associate of Pink Floyd, did that mix, and you know what? I really like it. Pretty cool stuff. This is Progotron right here on Radio Gordo. I'm your host, Randall Liberon, this time around, and this next band is something that's maybe not as rigidly progressive rock as titles and labels and all those little confining boxes would have us think that things need to be. We're going to be truly progressive and step outside of that box. And the band up this time is a band I don't think I've ever played on this show either. They're called The Spacious Mind. They were founded in Sweden back in 1991. They're sort of more of a psychedelic rock, space rock kind of thing. This one is definitely an epic workout. We're going to go back to their first LP, which was released in 1993. That album was called Cosmic Minds at Play. This song, well, this one is called Seashore Trees.
نه امیدی بود به فردا، نه صدایی بود نه همراه. عاشقانه جون میدادم که رسیدی باز تو از راه، که رسیدی باز تو از راه. تو رسیدی و سپردی، تو رسیدی و سپردی صد سرود و صد ترانه لبای بسته من عاشقان
You know, it's kind of funny that when you're listening to a song that's more than 20 minutes long, even if they spend like 3 minutes doing maybe a section of a song that you're not overly fond of, it's like, don't worry, there's still lots of song left. It's going to change into something else. That band, Spacious Mind, and that outing, Seashore Trees, you know, might have had a little bit of that, and I think that's all right. This is Progotron on Radio Gordo, and next up, we're going to stick around in Europe for a little bit more with this next band. And in this case, Europe means Iceland. You know, so it's going to be a peculiar band. It's been described as post-rock. I guess you can also think of them as being psychedelic. They sing in a language called Hopelandic, so it's made up. And this song is the title track from their 2002 LP, Valtari. This band, Sigur Rós, it's one of those bands that when I was first getting into them about 20 years ago, I was reading stories about them playing so loud that some of the old buildings that they would play in actually started to have like mortar actually crumble. They were sending so much vibration through the building. This is one that it starts off deceptively quiet, but it builds to those epic moments. So let's check it out right now on Progotron, Sigur Rós, Valtari.
You silent for eyes. You silent time. You sigh, seafarer. You sigh, Pharaoh.
So you know what did I tell you? It has those quiet moments, and it got epic and loud and massive, and you can just picture a well amplified band playing that, shaking the literal foundations of a building that it's been playing in. So pretty epic stuff from Sigur Rós Valtari, title track of their 2002 release. Next up on Progotron, this is where we're going to get heavy, we're going to get crunchy, and we might scare a few people away. So forewarned, we got some heaviness, but not without its technicality coming at us right now. A band called Blotted Science is standing by, but first up is Animals as Leaders, going back to the 2016 release from these guys. This is a track called Inner Assassins. Blotted Science track called Activation Synthesis Theory. If you're going to throw down that many syllables in a title, it's got to be a little bit technical, at least, and Blood Science definitely throws that down on that one. Animals as Leaders before that, Inner Assassins. And we are at the final song for this edition of Progotron. Of course, I've been your host, Randall LeBron, guiding us through this progressive rock journey, and hopefully we've expanded maybe our tastes and our experiential sense of progressive rock just a little bit more. We're going to bring things back to a band that I personally am revisiting a little bit, because when the band A Perfect Circle released the album Eat the Elephant in 2018, I was excited for a new offering from the band, and then when I listened to it, I will admit I felt a little bit disappointed. It's not that I should have had reason to. It wasn't necessarily what I was expecting, and it's taken more listenings to digest and appreciate what was going on it. And I think that because Maynard James Keenan, who's a vocalist in A Perfect Circle, is also a vocalist in the band Puscifer, one of the driving creative forces in that band, since their 2020 release Existential Reckoning and the themes that were being explored on that one, I went back and listened to Eat the Elephant, and I see a bit of a logical progression going on there, and it's in place with this one. So wrapping up the show this week, this is A Perfect Circle, Disillusion.
Obsession down. Take a look around. Find a way in the silence. Lies to hide away with your back to the ground. This and reconnect to the resonance now. You were never an island. Unique voice among the many in this choir. Tuning into each other, lift all higher. Hey, how Esquire. Tuning into each other, lift all higher.
And that's it for this prog rock journey this week. I've been your host, Randall LeBron, at this time around guiding Progotron through 2 hours of musical space. I want to thank all of you who've put your trust in me for allowing me to guide us through this 2-hour space together, and hopefully we had a sense of progress by the time we've reached the end of it. Thanks to Dave Gordon and Radio Gordo for allowing this to all go out on those airwaves. Until next time, be cool to one another. Later.